Welcome to Bilbao, the largest city in the Spanish Basque Country. Now this is a very unique location with its own distinct culture and language and quite a few things to see as well. So let's go have a look around and see what Bilbao has got to offer. Good morning and kaixo. That means hello in Euskara, the very unique language of the Basque Country, which is where we are today. Bilbao is the most populous city in the Spanish Basque Country and the 10th largest in Spain. Now this city has a lot of places to check out, and I am gonna cover quite a few of them in this video, but first let me tell you something about this very fascinating yet little known region of Europe. So what is the Basque Country? First of all, it is not a country. Euskal Herria is a region that stretches across northern Spain and southwestern France, and it is home to the Basque people, an ethnic group characterized by a common language, culture, and genetic ancestry. Now, it isn't 100% clear how long the Basques have lived in this region, but it is certain that they are one of the oldest surviving ethnic groups in Europe. The oldest written account dates from the 2nd century BC, meaning that the Basque language was used well over 2200 years ago. Euskara is in fact a language isolate without any connection to the Romance languages spoken around it. But more than that, Basque is the last remaining pre-Indo-European language that is still used today, making it by far the oldest living language in Europe. Currently, there are about 800,000 native speakers, and most of them are in the Spanish part of the Basque Country. Without going too much into detail, the Basque people have long struggled for autonomy or outright independence, but they do not have an actual state. They have a lot of autonomy though, especially in the Spanish Basque autonomous community, which is where we are right now. Now that we have established what is so special about this corner of Europe, let's start exploring Bilbao in the old town or Casco Viejo. Founded in the year 1300, this is where the city began. In the Middle Ages, the residents lived off fishing before becoming more and more proficient at seafaring. Thanks to its ports and heavy industries such as mining and ironworks, the entire region started to flourish. Situated on an estuary stretching out into the Bay of Biscay, Bilbao's location was always highly strategic for international trade, notably with France and England. As such, the Casco Viejo was the commercial area, while the other side of the Nervión River was more industrial. Today the old town is still a bustling commercial neighborhood, but it is also a tourist hotspot thanks to attractions such as the cathedral and the Plaza Nueva, the main square, brimming with cafes and restaurants. Apart from those, you'll find the Ribera market here, which is a great place to try out Pintxos. They come in different shapes and with various toppings such as fried fish, croquettes, local ham and various kinds of cheese. People here eat them throughout the day, and they generally don't cost more than €3 a piece. Next to the market, you'll find the Ribera arches, which have incredible murals on the ceiling. When strolling around the Casco Viejo, you'll notice 3 omnipresent flags. First, the flag of the Basque Country, which highlights the importance of the Basque identity. Secondly, the flag of Athletic Bilbao, the local football team. And finally, you'll see a lot of Palestinian flags. Due to their own history of struggle for self-determination, the Basques generally support Palestine. We are now leaving the old town and heading to the city's newer parts to check out Bilbao's most iconic cultural institution. Completed in 1997, the Guggenheim Museum is a building that changed the face of Bilbao. Built into the formerly derelict central port area, the structure was designed by Frank Gehry, one of the most renowned architects of all time. The museum cost almost $90 million, and the Basque government paid a significant fee to the Solomon R. Guggenheim Foundation in order to use the name. The building has a very unique architectural style that makes it look futuristic, even almost 3 decades after completion. The cost has actually been repaid many times over by the museum's success, and it has contributed to revitalize the entire city. Inside, there are permanent and temporary exhibitions. You'll find modern and contemporary art, including works by Jeff Koons, who designed the flower poppy outside, Jenny Holzer, Roy Lichtenstein, Richard Serra, and many others. During my visit, the temporary exhibition was a collection by Japanese artist Yoshimoto Nara, who creates incredibly powerful anti-war images with anime-style drawings. I spent about 2.5 hours inside the museum, and I found it super impressive. As is always the case with modern art, not everything will suit your taste, but overall, the Guggenheim is undoubtedly worth a visit if you are in Bilbao. To end our first day here in Bilbao, let me show you my accommodation. I stayed at the Mercure hotel, which is situated between the modern downtown area and the old town, very close to the Nervion River. The room was spacious and tastefully decorated, and the Mercure does have a gym, but the sauna and spa facilities weren't included in the rate. I paid €110 per night, which is certainly not cheap, but it was a twin room, and for 2 people this would have been okay, considering that we are in Western Europe in July. On my second morning in Bilbao, I went for a walk around the modern city center and Gran Via, the city's main avenue. The downtown area is very commercial, and it has a pretty interesting mix of architecture with historic buildings, 70s and 80s apartment blocks, but also modern towers. I then took a bus to Getxo, a port town about 14 kilometers north of Bilbao, right on the mouth of the estuary. The bus ride took 45 minutes and cost €1.50. The town is well known for the stunning Viscaya Bridge, an iron transporter bridge that was completed in 1893. It is, in fact, the oldest bridge of its kind that's still in operation. Viscaya is 164 meters long and 45 meters high. Its gondola can transport 6 cars at a time and acts as a ferry to cross the river, but it can also be used to load container vessels. You can ascend to the top of the bridge by elevator and walk over it, but this activity is nothing for people with vertigo. Everything is open and the winds can be pretty strong, as I experienced myself. Thanks to its significance and combination of beauty and function, Viscaya Bridge was declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2006. I then returned to Bilbao by bus and checked out the Itsas Maritime Museum. It explains the region's shipping history and how Bilbao became an industrial hub. Unfortunately, the outer section was closed, meaning that you couldn't board any actual ships. Later that evening, I returned to the old town for some local dinner. I went for some fried calamari as a starter and beefsteak for main. It was delicious, but I wasn't a fan of the chips that they paired the steak with. I ended my time in Bilbao with some beer on the Plaza Nueva. The city really comes alive on this square, and I love the fact that young, old, foreigner, local and everybody else just gather here to have a good time. And that is where I finished the video. I really enjoyed my 2 days here. It is a very interesting corner of Europe and undoubtedly worth an inclusion on your next trip to Spain. As always, thanks very much for watching and see you in the next one. Goodbye.